Hey guys, Emma here. Today we are going to work on a project to deal with the honestly kind of embarrassing situation that's happening in our chicken run. This winter/spring was a very rainy time in Sitka, and basically the entire back chicken run area has turned into a mud manure pit. It's disgusting, and I'm kind of embarrassed about it. And I've been doing some things recently to try and mediate it now that it's nicer weather and I have some opportunity to get in there and get some work done. Last weekend, I dug out a 14-inch trench and I built some wood braces, and then I put in this treated lumber and I graveled it all back, and I made like essentially a 14-inch space away from the house, 14-inch deep, 14-inch away from the house trench, and then I filled it with gravel to try and keep all of the moisture away from our foundation. As you can see, this is the moisture I'm talking about. Now, the reason that there's a strip of sod in here right now, this is not usually here, it was just all mud, honestly, until, and it especially got worse once I dug all the mud out of there and threw it in the run. But because I was working on a different project, which you will see on my YouTube channel, if you don't see it before you see this video, it'll be the week after. But basically I was doing a garden bed expansion and need to pull out some sod, so I used the sod strips here and put them in the run. And now I'm going to build basically a 2x4 and hardwire cloth frame to go over this entire 20-foot section, 2-foot by 20-foot section, to basically keep it so that the chickens and the ducks don't destroy the sod and grass, and it'll help absorb moisture and just keep this looking better. You can see back there is a 2x4 and hardwire cloth frame that I built this past fall. I planted some grass seed in there, some shade tolerant grass seed. And so basically what happens is the grass seed has an opportunity to grow because it's not getting trampled and picked up by the birds. And then they can sit on it like our lady duck is sitting over there on it. And then the grass grows up through it and they can peck at it. And it's kind of like an enrichment activity. So all the sod is freshly put in yesterday. I also did this thing where I built myself some, like a boardwalk essentially, because I have to go into this chicken run all the time to deal with the rabbit hutch to feed and water them and clean it out. And so this boardwalk basically is kind of my method to get back there. I need to get a couple more of the pavers because I ran out and then it wasn't long enough to stretch far enough, but that will continue all the way back to the rabbit hutch. I also recently moved the duck pond, and I'm going to be installing essentially like a self-draining port on there so I can drain the duck water out into the garden beds, which are on the opposite side of that cedar fence. So my project today is basically to build the frames like I did for that other one, that test trial that I did. And I'm going to build a 12-foot one, an 8-foot one, and then I'm going to see how much supplies I have left and what makes sense for this space. So I have all the supplies out in the front of the yard. We will need to cut some lumber to size, and then we'll use our staple gun to basically staple the hardwire cloth to the frames once we build the frames. So let me show you what we got, and then we'll get started on the project. I just got back from the hardware store, so I picked up our hardwire cloth. We are going to do the 24-inch. We're going to do the 24-inch hardwire cloth. This is a 25-foot section, and then this was the only one they had, so I grabbed another 5-foot section of it. But the 24-inch will be perfect, so I'll cut the frames to make them that size. I picked up some extra staples for the staple gun because I wasn't sure how many I had left. And then I picked up some outdoor decking screws so that I can build the wood frames. Over here we have some treated lumber. And I've got two 12-foot boards and the rest are 8-foot. And so we'll be using the 12-foot for the biggest, longest strip, and I'll make it 2 feet wide. And it'll basically lay over where that strip of sod was that I showed you earlier. And then we'll use 2 of these 8-foot ones to make another 8-foot strip, and that'll go kind of right to the left side of the boardwalk. And then we'll kind of see and assess what we have left. I think it'll be good to do 2 of the big ones, the 8-foot and the 12-foot one, just to kind of like see where that gets us in the chicken run area. And the other last part of this project that I'm going to be doing is installing a French drain back there to help with some drainage. So this is going to be a multi-step process to kind of get the chicken run revamped, reduce the water and the sitting moisture in there. The problem with it is that when we moved into this house, that was just all like shaded, mossy area. So we removed a bunch of trees, so we got some light in there and some airflow, which helped. But then I got ducks, which just made it even worse. And the chickens just pull up anything that you put in there. So it's just wants to be mud. Plus, we're in a really rainy climate. And when you dig down deep, actually, it's just dirt all the way down until about a foot deep, and then it's all volcanic ash. So Mount Edgecombe volcano is like basically right across the bay from us here in Sitka. It's on another island just not far from here. It's been dormant or whatever it's called for many, many, many years. But back in the day, there essentially was an explosion at some point of that volcano, and it left the entire area of Sitka covered in volcanic ash, which is what you dig down deep and you see, and you can really tell. And it's very clay-like, so it just holds onto moisture, and it's just not great. So that's kind of the issue with the backyard area. We're fighting it. We're fighting so much moisture, clay soil, and then we're fighting just like lack of light and airflow overall. And then the fact that everything I do is just being trampled by ducks and chickens that just want to splash all their water out of the pond. So this is not going to cure or solve the problem entirely, but it is going to help. I have done like quite a bit of like internet research, I guess, on this particular project and building these little 2x4 hardwire cloth frames. And there was a bunch of conversation amongst bird owners that saying, you know, their feet are going to get caught. It's going to cause like rips on their like dew claw, essentially. It's going to rip their nails out, other stuff like that. I have not had any experience. That one that I did as a test trial that's out there, it's like a 4-foot by 6-foot one, or maybe 4-foot by 5-foot. And it's hardwire cloth. I planted grass seed below it. I have had nothing but a positive experience. Not one of my birds has been injured in any capacity. They love sitting on it. It hasn't caused any problems with any of their feet. And this will not be covering the entire run. It's just portions of it. And honestly, it gives them so much enjoyment and enrichment having grass and stuff grow. So I think it's going to be nothing but positive as well. And I will definitely provide information and feedback in later videos over the next like 6 months and a year to see if there is any injuries that occur now that I'm going to put more of them out there. But I'm feeling pretty positive that it's going to be a good situation. It's not going to result in any injury or harm to my birds. If I really thought that it was, I wouldn't do this project because I do care about them. They're family, they're part of our household, and we do try to treat them as good as possible. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm just going to get working on this project. So I'm going to pull the lumber out into the driveway here. I'm going to get my saw and my extension cord out. I'm going to cut some pieces to size and then just start to install the hardwire cloth. I'll walk you through some bits and pieces, but it's pretty straightforward. Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to cut two 24-inch sections, one for the top, one for the bottom. Then I'm going to drill some pilot holes. Okay, we've got our two 24-inch pieces, one for the top, one for the bottom. I'm going to get the drill out and we're going to drill some pilot holes. Okay, I'm going to put 2 screws at each end. So I'm going to drill 2 pilot holes about 1 inch apart or so. These screws that I purchased use a T25 bit. I'm gonna make sure. Yep, that's right. Put this in our... Okay, so I've got 2 screws per side. I'm just gonna put them directly into the pilot holes that I've already drilled, right into the end of these boards. Okay, now we're gonna do the exact same thing with the 8-foot boards. Okay, so we've got the hardwire cloth unraveled. Now we just need to put this over the frame, use our staple gun to tack it down. Shouldn't be that hard, but I hate working with hardwire cloth. And every single time I use it, my hands just get torn up. So I should probably start to wear gloves one day, but today is not going to be that day. And ideally, this should fit perfectly, but we will always see, won't we? Oh, it does. Okay. I'm going to tack it down to this end, try to get it level and straight. Just going to use my staple gun, pop some staples down on this bottom piece. I'm going to go every so often, just whatever I feel like needs to be there to make it secure. This is what it looks like stapled to the end, so we're just going to continue that all the way down this 12-foot section, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the 8-foot one. Ta-da! 2 of them are done, and they look great. And despite my efforts to try and go back and forth on the right and the left side of the 8-foot one, it still ended up wonky. So I don't know. I guess I'm just not good at laying out hardwire cloth, and that's fine. This is what they look like completed. They look great from far away. Just don't look up close. Now all we have left to do is put them in the chicken run. I'm gonna have to change shoes though, because it is really gross in there. I'm not wearing my Birkenstocks. So let's go do that. Seems like they are enjoying it already, and it works great. All right, I'm out here a few days later. It got rainy and gross, and just want to check back in. The 2x4 frames that I built with the hardwire cloth are doing great. I actually noticed when I went out there earlier today, I'm not gonna walk out there right now because it is muddy and wet, but I noticed that some grass had actually started to already grow from the grass seed that I had spread out all along the edges where the sod wasn't covering. So I'm feeling really hopeful. All I have left is to trench out an area for the French drain, and then we'll be set to go. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you later.